What's up? How's everybody doing on the East Coast? Y'all snowed in? Y'all doing great? Y'all got enough food? Water? Oh boy, some of these video games are cheap as fuck now. Oh, it is about the counter. Nobody ever fucking does offensive shit. Oh boy. Yeah, I even did this to Street Fighter. I reward the counter fighters, boy. Oh boy. Some of this shit, y'all just reward people for just being. Oh my god, oh boy. It's getting harder to play video games because y'all make it easier for scrubs. Ugh, really? What's up? Who's in the fucking building? If you're a troll, just announce you're a fucking troll. Just do me a favor. Do that. Have some decency and just say, I'm a fucking troll. We ain't for this fucking shit anymore. Just say, I'm a fucking troll and get it over with. Because a lot of you got no lives anyway. And besides, matter of fact, if you say you're a troll, I'll let you up on a live by yourself, one on one with me. But we know. What's up, Texas? How y'all doing? What's up, LEPD SWAT? If you're gonna be a troll, I'll let you up here one on one with me. What's up, man? Because I already know some people are just trolling when they watch. Some people just troll. They're not good at it, but you gotta. God bless them. So how y'all doing during the snow apocalypse? Like niggas ain't never been through a blizzard before in their lives. I thought that was funny. Oh Lord, we ain't gonna have enough food. We ain't gonna have enough drink. We ain't gonna have enough liquor, no weed, no cocaine. Lord Jesus, help us, Jesus. Lord Jesus, help us. Mm-mm-mm. Jesus, if you can help us. We need some drinks. We need some food. We need some beverages. Lord Jesus, help us, Jesus. Gotcha, bitch. We got Ray in the building. Amor, what's up, Amor? What's up, nigga Roshi? Oh, gotta love nigga Roshi. Mm. I gotta ask a question, and this is a serious question. I gotta ask a question for everybody listening. I need all six motherfuckers in the chat. And growing. Uh, should I spark a cigar tonight? I'm just asking. Don't forget the tissues. You know, when every time there's a medical emergency, nigga got to get toilet paper, but he doesn't talk about washcloths and soaps to wash their asses. Woo! Should I spark a cigar tonight? Mm. Should I spark a fresh one tonight? Should Sir Charles? Oh yeah, I should do that. I should do that. I should do it on Patreon because number one, I like to talk about some of that shit on Sean Ryan. So I'm gonna need a lot of my subscribers to pump my name to Sean Ryan so I can get a free gun and a shit ton of notoriety. I want a free gun. I want some notoriety to get to 100,000 subs so I could just pump content all day for you fine folks. Lord knows I do it. Lord knows I'll be a good Christian man and do it. Lordy, Lord, Lord. I do it. Sean Ryan, holla at your boy. He's probably more interesting than probably 75% of the motherfuckers here. He's been through the deserts and the urban terrain and urban warfare of Iraq, and he's been a police officer for nearly 2 decades for the city of Baltimore in 3 different jurisdictions. And he's even started a security firm where he put young black men to work when the stereotype was young black men don't want to work. And he's a single father, single daddy. I won't even call myself a single father because my son's mother's there too. I got a whole village. Got a whole motherfucking village. Hold up, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Hot. Whoa! I gotta. Whoa! Mister, how you been? Oh, whew. God damn, you must have been a brave soul there, buddy. You know what's funny? Why is all these comic book artists or so-called wannabe comic book artists making all this anti-ice propaganda? See, this is part of the reasons why. This is the reason why I look at people and I say, why? I'm going to drop the link out there. Don't worry, I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link. I'm sparking up a Dan Cigars Lounge, Maduro Leaf, Classics, the store, 2 hour smoke. Guaranteed 2 hour cigar smoke. Anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hour smoke. I'm going to say some controversial shit, but I've always been about some controversial shit. This is what I really think about people, especially black people, who got to open their mouth about shit like, for example, ice. What the fuck does that have to do with you? Honestly, a lot of you Negroes are really starting to make me fucking sick. You're fighting everybody else's battles, but nobody comes to yours. Have you noticed that shit? And I get it. Everybody and anybody can have their own personal thoughts about whatever, whenever, however. But as a black man in America whose family tree fought for this country since its inception, don't tell me shit about ICE. When none of these motherfuckers have fought for my people like my people has fought for everybody else. Okay? Let's keep shit funky for a minute. I'm not saying I agree with every act that every law enforcement officer since the inception of this fucking country has done right. No, absolutely fucking not. But being a person who had boots on ground for almost 2 decades, hell, probably more than 2 decades if you count the overall description, and that's not even including the military service. Let's get some real fucking shit on order. A lot of you motherfuckers, for example, hate it when authority has to be distributed. Is that something that black America has a problem with? Notice that. I'm the first person to talk about injustice. I'm the first motherfucker to tell you if a cop's going to jail or not. But let's play both sides of the coin and get all the stories told. Because Negroes won't say shit. Negroes won't say shit when it needs to be belt the ass. Where were the fucking LGBT during civil rights? Where were all the illegals marching for us? It's not even a fruitless endeavor. It's just downright stupid. A lot of you niggas don't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out. But I'm not talking about anybody specifically. But you worried about other folks who's taking up your fucking time and space. The same motherfuckers you trying to fight for are the same motherfuckers who's pushing you out middle class. It's one thing if you have an individual or a set family that fights for black people's rights. But you look fucking foolish fighting for people's rights who don't have any. You're the same kind of niggas who will throw a GoFundMe for a street nigga's fucking funeral or putting some fucking money on his books in prison. But you don't have no love when that nigga go to the military. You don't have any love when that motherfucker has to fucking go to college or go to trade school. Motherfucker said, let me hold 50 for the month and I'll pay you back 75. You said, nah. But guess what? You'll give a fucking pair of Jordans to a nigga in jail, and the only other motherfuckers he pressing are other niggas in jail. But you the same motherfuckers who won't fight the pharmaceutical companies who'll charge another country $5 to $10 for the same pills you paying 150 for. The priorities of black people are so fucked up currently, it's not even funny. I'm inviting motherfuckers. Please do me a favor. Invite people. I don't give a fuck if I lose subscribers. If I tell the truth. Look, do I agree with every action the country takes? No. 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 But I'm man enough to say it. I'm fucking man enough to say it. See, the same shit, if I had to go out there in Iraq, or when I was with the department in Baltimore, and I had to take care of fucking business, and a motherfucker attacks me, these are the same motherfuckers who would have said, I've committed police brutality. But nobody puts a camera on when the motherfucker spits on me, hits me, or threatens me. Is that every case that goes with all law enforcement? Absolutely not. But how quick are we to judge? I want you to think about that shit. How quick are we to judge when you know nothing of being in that fucking situation yourself? And if anybody does anything illegal while they're carrying a badge and gun, you're just a criminal with a badge. I've said it decades ago. If you do anything illegal while you have a badge and gun on your hip, you're just a fucking criminal with a badge. But obviously, nobody ever heard of good faith. Nobody ever heard of the Fourth Amendment. If a motherfucker does everything by the book, shut the fuck up. If they're not mistreating people and they're treating people with the utmost respect, you gotta shut the fuck up. Now, if they're disrespecting people, if they're brutalizing people, they gotta be dealt with. They should be fired and then tried. But to go and to cause chaos, that's not right. And I know goddamn well none of my subscribers would do any type of foolishness like that. It's one thing to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve mankind, which are the three tenets to make a perfect law enforcement officer. Or at least not perfect, but the three things you can start. And I would tell anybody going into that field, if that's not what you're trying to do, get the fuck out of it now. Well, that's so harsh, Charles. No, no, get the fuck out of it now. See, not Brandon Tatum, not any of these people who are past law enforcement officers will say any shit like this openly and fairly. You know why? Because I've been a goddamn human being longer than anybody who wore a uniform. But common sense eludes my people, obviously. And this has not been so, but recently. In the words of the legendary Frankie Beverly, why must it be this way? It's like the old saying of Charles, why aren't you in a relationship? You've been single for 6 years. Not because I can't get a woman, it's because I gotta guard my heart like the goddamn Citadel. I gotta guard it like Fort Knox. I'm in a generation where everybody's looking for a come up. Nobody's trying to grow with me. Everybody's trying to take from me. That's the burden that almost made my grandfather cry. That's the burden. See, here's the part about the debate. I haven't seen it. I don't know what was asked. But if I was there, who knows? When you see shit like that, tag my name. Put me out there. Let me get a chance. Win, lose, or draw. Because I would ask this, especially if it's a mafia person, which 99 times out of 10, he's white. Even if he's Italian, he's considered white. So you're going to tell me that a white guy has it harder than a black man getting through. How many of you motherfuckers had a chance to go legit through your criminal organizations? The black man is considered criminal usually through legit organizations. As a black man who started a business, how many motherfuckers were trying to scheme me? But you would not be afraid to pay top dollar to that white man, even though we gave 10 times better to work. So I would love to debate some of these motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest problems to anybody listening to the sound of my voice. You don't tag Dr. Dunbar, you don't tag Dr. Z, Dr. T, you don't tag Dr. Neil, BGS, or anybody in them's fucking follies. No, trust me, tag me in the right place. I'll offer it. Especially if they're liberal, I'll make their fucking ears smoke. If you're a fucking liberal and you never gave any service, shut the fuck up. Just like I would tell a Republican. But even some of my most liberal folks, because I would tell nobody, pick who you choose to serve. Pick who you choose to serve. But you better be damn sure that's the way you want to go to heaven or hell. I've said this to many motherfuckers. The same way my parents, you know, Charles Lawrence Faulkner Sr. and Loretta, former Faulkner, back to her maiden name Bazemore, used to tell me, when you burn bridges, that's a long swim back to shore. Mm. People think I'm fucked up for saying that. Some people just don't get the essence. They don't capture the essence. Here's the problem of corruption, right? What did I tell y'all years ago? There's only 2 to 3% of corruption, just like there's only 2 to 3% of the population committing crime. And crime is only because of what? Time, space, and a lack of opportunity, which creates the opportunity for what? Crime. But you know what really fucks people up? Is the intellectual prowess, even though I didn't finish my degree. Hello. Have you ever heard me on any of these panels sound confused? Hold on for a second. I'm back, folks. I had to answer a question. There's too many people out there, right? There's too many people out there who get hemmed up by some bullshit. And these are just the good officers, okay? There's too many good goddamn officers out there who get hemmed up off of bullshit, off of lies. Too many. It's one thing if we go through all the procedures. It's another thing if we're having a witch hunt. But what happens is that too many people get wrapped up in emotionalism and not just say, okay, right, wrong, or indifferent, this person's innocent or guilty. The evidence presents itself as is. Nope. You know why? Too much fucking work. Too much fucking work. And you know what's the shame about people who obviously do not represent the diligence of going through whatever procedures, going through whatever factual information, is that when you're looking for a certain narrative, you've already fucked the system already. I'm Ray. I'm gonna say this out of love. Ray, what you just said was the biggest crock of bullshit that I heard in the last 10 years, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the quickest ways that people look for big bucks and quick bucks is what? Suing large departments or conglomerates. Because departments would rather pay out than let the fucking bad press, even if they have evidence against the press, go. I.e., Freddie Gray. So the act of police getting away with shit is bullshit. I've seen more police get fired off of actual shit that they were actually justified by than illegal shit. Because here's the fact of the matter. Black people go through so much emotionalism because if a police officer gets accused of domestic violence, do you know that fuckers, even if they're the victim of it, their gun and badge is taken and suspended? So that's bullshit. Do you know how many times people want to come for your fucking pension, come for your check? Please enlighten me this shit. Do you know how many fucking people I know? How many people I know that have been fired from the departments when they were found out not only acquitted, but they were also found out the victim of a crime. And they had to spend money to clear their fucking name? Whatever fucking career could you say you did that for? Tell me, name me another fucking career that happens. I'll wait. Sometimes people, you gotta understand about a lot of these fucking debates, okay? Let's tell the truth. Do you think Ben Shapiro is gonna debate a motherfucker like me? Do you think Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, or any of them motherfuckers is gonna debate a motherfucker like me? Yes or no? Let's start everybody in the fucking chat right now. Since you got me a little hot about this, I need a yes or no. I'm waiting. Do you think what's the old boy who got shot and killed? Charlie Kirk. You think Charlie Kirk would have debated a nigga like me? Candace wouldn't even touch me with a 10-foot pole. As a matter of fact, the sad part about it, a lot of shit me and Candace probably agree on. Probably. So is Tatum. If anybody who's been following me for the last 10 fucking years, 12 years now, since I've been involved with the space, what's one of the biggest things I told black people what they should do about the police department? I'll wait. Now we got 18, 20 motherfuckers. I need 20 fucking different names and voices. Stop being in the cloud. Stop cloud watching. What did I tell black people the first time I was in this space if they got a complaint about the police department? And if you don't know, just type I don't know what you said if you weren't there. And I'll explain it to you. Thank you. Thank you, LAPD SWAT. Thank you. Thank you. If you got an issue with the department, thank you, Mr. Mist. Thank you. See, I've influenced so many motherfuckers in the last 15 years to go to the military and the police department. What the fuck can Tatum and all these other motherfuckers say? Baltimore's damn near 70% black. Why is still the majority of police officers white in our city? It's what? 43% black, 46, 47% white. What's the first fucking thing I said? If you got a problem with it, join it. I said this, and please somebody put this in the fucking chat for Time Memorial. Military science dictates if you do not command the land, the sea, and the air, you infiltrate the system from within and you take it as your own. Is that not what the Hispanics are doing with California? But 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 a motherfucker. I don't know. I don't know. What the fuck did Anton tell me? What's the first thing I told everybody about true conservatism? At least Brandon Tatum, and see, this is how you know I'm a fair motherfucker, because I will speak the truth. At least Tatum has some body of service, a history of service to the people. Damn, this Maduro's hitting today. That's why I let a lot of fucking shit that Tatum say slide. That's why I can't be upset. Crystal clear, check, hold, because everybody's not listening. That's why some things I let Tatum slide with. Because he actually has, out of any conservative motherfucker, at least he has a body of work of service. Hello. Hello. But y'all don't want to hear me that. Hey, ask ABM. I'm from Baltimore. We got an old club song called Roll That Shit, Like That Shit, Smoke It, Smoke It, Smoke It, Smoke It. Thank you, Bay. Thank you. You wonder why Shia law is going on in a lot of these places now in America and France. You want go look at the Somalis and see how many Muslim fucking laws they're invoking in their neighborhoods. See, you can talk this shit to a motherfucker who's not worldly. I'm more worldly than fucking Ryu and Ken. Oh, we just talking the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help us God. What's up? Because a lot of people want to talk about conservative. What the fuck did I tell you? The only motherfucking conservative I will put on my channel and totally have respect for is Sandog. Because he has everything appended. Every every fucking pendant that you could put on this motherfucker's chest of conservatism, he does in droves in fucking he actually supersedes the motherfucker. He's part of one of the most conservative religions on the planet. He lives in one of the most conservative countries on the planet. He has a body of service. The saddest part is, if I get a hold of Tatum, it would even be this monstrous debate. We probably agree on 90% of shit. And that's what motherfuckers are scared of, is that a motherfucker like me would get on a platform like him and the notoriety I get, whoo! Because I'm not afraid to talk to the black man. Hell, I'll talk to the black man before I talk to the black woman. Because there's some grievances I have to air out with my boys, my ilk. Just like my ilk has to have grievances with me. I'm not afraid to sit in front of the Sanhedrin. What about you? Exactly. Exactly. And see, here's the scary part. ABM, I got 3 times the law enforcement years, almost 4, than Tatum. He has no military service. I would be the fucking new golden boy. If I have people who wrestled for me, people who were like little bros and little cousins to me, who are in the military now or just getting out, little nephews and shit. My nephew actually just got out. One of my little bros still in as a staff sergeant. We about to put Lost in as a fucking officer. I got one of my wrestlers in Baltimore County. I got a few wrestlers in Baltimore City, a couple in Baltimore County. You think if I get notoriety and I talk my shit and walk my shit, I can't put masculinity back on the fucking map single handedly? See, Kevin Samuels came with the olive branch. I come with the fucking spirit of vengeance, my nigga. You see me on YouTube smoking a fucking cigar, drinking some brown liquor, talking some real shit, the gospel? You think that wouldn't make black, white, Hispanic, yellow, red, brown, green, polka dot, blue motherfucking boys join the military? I'll be a fucking billionaire before it's done. I'll be the black man's equivalent to Oprah. You heard me. Let my name get out there like that. The fucking olive branch or the sledgehammer. And there's many times I had to play the scalpel. Don't play with me. I had to tell many of females, don't play with me. I know my fucking value in the game. You a damn fool if you don't lock my black ass down. I'm the only nigga a black female knows that can not work and still be valuable on multiple fucking avenues, multiple occasions, multiple talking points, multiple vectors. Day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second. Hmm. What did the genie tell Aladdin? You ain't never had a friend like me. Do you know how many people were either spared, hired, or blessed because they knew me? And I wasn't even physically there. Y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me. You think a motherfucker like me get that type of notoriety? You think I get a hold of Pete Hegseth? Have a glass of some XO cognac, smoke a cigar somewhere, and I'll be like, look here, Sec Def. Give me about 50 to 100 million. Go down to the Dew Burns Arena. Go down, have a couple of fucking contests at Under Armour, and we'll get you some motherfuckers in the military. I'll reinvent special forces. I'll reinvent JROTC. I'll put black men at the same height where we were coming out of World War II, coming out of Korea, where every goddamn black man you saw wasn't on a street corner. He either had a uniform on or he had a fucking business. That motherfucker was the man. That motherfucker was the apex predator of the black community. Them baby boomers, them younger fucking solid generations are the reason why the Klan doesn't do fucking rallies in your neighborhoods. Put foot, belt, fist to ass. Came up in there and they said, we ain't our grandparents' generation. We ain't our parents either. Their motto was, come on, have a rally. All you're gonna see is feet flying, fists flying, and people's bodies flying. But people want to tell me shit that I know, shit that I experience. People want to tell me, and the audacity of you motherfuckers who never been in my fucking boots, never took a fucking step in my shoes, are gonna have the audacity to tell me what the fuck the system's about. Dismiss yourself and dismiss me with that bullshit, and speak that bullshit to a lesser nigga than me. Shout out to the Roger Report. God bless him. I love him. But I am not he. My content is not made for children. Our content is made for the red blooded American fucking male. And we gotta put my fucking shit back up there. And what does it say? Parental advisory, explicit content. I am not Gabriel. Okay? I am a soldier and I am a goddamn officer. The highest rank I held in any department was sergeant, hell, even acting lieutenant. I will tell you this, my patron saint for the last 26 years has been 27 years has been the Archangel Michael. God calls me when shit needs to be done. Okay? If anybody knows the Archangel Michael, his motto is I'm with the shits. I'm with all the bullshit. That's my ilk. That's my status. None of this weak ass shit. I don't get it. I came under the generation when we went to the clubs where you got called out for weak shit. When I say weak ass, you say bitch. Weak ass. I forever remain a gentleman. What's up, Chaos? What's up, babe? What's up, Anthony? See, the problem with this is that I have to correct my brethren not to get so deep in emotionalism because we're better than that shit. You got so many intellectuals, so many brilliant content creators who told you stop getting into this emotional fucking wheelhouse. I can't save a nigga who keeps going and falling for the same shit every fucking time. Because at some point, you don't want to be saved. And that's the toughest fucking thing I had to realize. I can't save everybody. One of the deepest things about being a Superman fan is that in one of his comics, a villain once asked him, just because you have the ability to move a planet does not mean you have the power to move the people within it. Somebody need to put that in the chat. That is some fundamental shit. That is some shit that people have to come to God with. That is something that people have to really take an understanding and say, hey, we can't argue with that fact. Why? Why? You got homeless goddamn women in our community with one, two, three, or more children living in a fucking car during sub freezing temperatures. But they can't submit to a man. They can't find a man. Why? Because they don't want to. Bravado, ignorance, hubris is an even deadlier drug than cocaine, crack, weed, alcoholism will ever be. You would rather condemn your children to damnation than to give them salvation. Why? 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 Hubris destroys families. Hubris destroys communities. It destroys nations. Don't argue with me. Argue with the stats. Sorry, I accidentally muted. We got more love for mediocrity than we do for success. Where the fuck does this even happen? There's more women who will let a man like me go because they got to focus on themselves. But I get it. I get it. But how long do you think I should stay? How long do you think a man in my position should stay? I don't even think y'all ready for my mentality. I don't think that a lot of y'all are ready. I'm convinced that black people, not just the women, but the men, don't understand when a good thing's happening for them. I'm convinced of that. You don't know how to network. You don't know how to get out of each other's way. You don't know how to support. What the fuck good are you? You wonder why a successful black man go to college, go to some endeavors as an entertainment or sports, and he's not loyal to you. You know why? Because you were never loyal to him. You were just waiting to use him. It's only fair. It's only fair for him to look out for his fucking heart, his money, his endeavors, his dreams. You don't make the black woman have to be loyal. You don't make her come back and pay it full. But that black man, you got to put all the requirements, all the overhead charges upon his head. Tell me where I'm wrong. And let's say that same black man finds love. And we don't even go interracial. Let him say he finds a black woman that treats him exquisitely, excellently. How much hate does he get from his own people? How many black women will hate that woman for treating that black man like the king he is? I'll wait. So guess what? You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you certainly don't. Can't even make a black man, can't even allow a black man to be happy. Hmm. You can't. You can't. His happiness is tertiary at best. Because if the woman ain't happy, if the kids ain't happy, fuck his happiness. I'm here to tell black men, put your happiness fucking first. I never was a believer, nor was I taught by my father or my mother that a happy life means a happy wife. I was always taught that God's plan started with that man. Hmm. There are so many women I've dealt with in the past who could tell you right now if I called them up. We never used to argue. We never used to get into it. But as soon as they got into the next relationship, it was argument after argument, and they stayed with the motherfucker even longer than me. And I'm not even frustrated anymore. I just accept it for what it is. You love your mediocrity. You dwell within your obsolescence. You manifest micromanagement. That's all you're about. That's all you love. I, I do not have to hate on it. I do not have to be a curmudgeon about it. I love every second of it. This is what I have to tell black women because I already had to tell the black men what I thought about them. A black man like myself. Do you think it's wise to let me go by the wayside? Do you? If you marry me, I'm an instant benefit. My benefits from the Veterans Affairs are expanded because of you. Literally, my father had zero credit, put no money down, and lives in a house that's worth $350,000 thanks to his benefits. And when his wife said, "I thought we were going to talk about it," yeah, I looked at this house we just did. You can stay your ass where you at, or you can come with me. And she shut the fuck up and came with him. I'm just wondering, is this what you praise? Is this what you hold dear? If so, be honest about it. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest about it. What's up, babe?
What's up? I'm just listening you talk about this GI Bill.
I mean, not even just the GI Bill. Do you know in the state of Maryland, if I get 100%, which is coming, because I'm already at 50,
Uh
hundred
oh, what
percent,
just happened?
you pay no property tax in the state of Maryland. Would that be the type of dude on paper women will want?
Hello?
But we have to understand something
Give me a second. Hold
that
on. Let me get that soundbar. Mm,
he'll be back, folks. Don't worry. This is what kills me, and this is the reason why you would think on paper you're the type of man that women will want. This is what the epiphany I had to come with years ago. Fuck being the man everybody wants. Be the man you want to be.
okay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Crystal clear.
Yeah, this soundbar.
I want people to think about this shit. A lot of people go through their heartaches and pains, and instead of like developing themselves to be better men, and it's okay. Do you think it's okay for men just not to give a fuck about the system anymore?
If you give up on the system, you give up, especially a system of capitalism, you give up on yourself.
Yeah. The minute the minute you think that this is the sad part about being black in America. You're always taught to put yourself last. You're always told to put yourself at a leisure state. Fuck that. But you know, a Negro like me is wrong for telling y'all that. How many times have we learned in our lives the same chicks you call wife material is somebody else's smut? 2026. How many days are we in? What's
That
up, Rodney?
27 days in.
27 days in. And I had to make a conscious decision on how I look at people that I've known for years.
You had some growth, did you?
Not just growth. I'm like, if you have a family endeavor, even some of the chicks who are the so-called exes, I'm like, I fuck with them, but I'll be like, it's your daughter's birthday. My son knows your daughters for years, for over a decade now. No invite to the birthday celebration. I told the motherfucker, I said, this is less than a month. I had to look at you different. You didn't invite me to your birthday. You didn't even say, hey, come through, the family's over. Your birthday's the first. Your second daughter's the birthday is what, yesterday now. I have to look at you different.
It's okay. I
But
mean,
that's
at least
but that's
they.
okay.
I look at it like this because it's like when I would like loan people money and everything, and if I don't get it back, what you told me was that I paid you like $20 to go away.
hmm
It
The
cost
most
me.
brilliant, the most brilliant shit I ever heard from my boy Aaron Neal. Most brilliant shit. My boy, we've been friends for 28 years. He says you never lend money. You're not okay with listening. You're not okay with giving away. And I have to be in this type of mindset because when the conversation comes tomorrow, later this week, or whatever, because I already said something about it today to the individual. Yeah, I know we had a snowstorm, but guess what? You still managed to have a snowstorm. I said, wait a minute. How are you going to get out there, but you don't have a truck? Well, you called your ex husband, who's your son's father, to take your daughter, who has no blood relation to her, and y'all been divorced for how long? And I told her, it's going to come a situation where I'm going to come out there and I'll be like, yo, I got to look at you a little different for that. Because, one, if you knew about it, and trust me, it's not the first time we didn't invite each other to each other's kids' birthday celebrations, anything. And I'm just giving this example of how you got to look at people. Not that I'm heartbroken or nothing like that. Far from that shit. No. But it tells me how you got to look at motherfuckers. Now, it could be like, well, I said, how long did you know? Well, you knew what time her birthday was. I said, no, 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 that's not the point. The invite's the point. You knew where she wanted to go. Why didn't you spread the invite? I could have paid for the whole event. What's up, Loss? Get your ass up here, Loss. Get your ass up here, Rodney. It's been a while since I heard from you. And see, this is the part, Bay. that I agree with what you said a few years ago. And I'm going to quote you on this one. A lot of people block their blessings because of absent mindedness. What's up, boy? You speak that cat. What?
You, you know what I mean by that?
Bring it to me. He's doing his exercises. Say what's up to everybody, Peter. What's up?
So, you know what I meant by that?
Oh, please explain. I know what you meant, but explain to the people.
I was actually, I was back before I was being as blunt as I am now.
And I thought that was one of the most brilliant. I got to give you your flowers. That's one of the most brilliant fucking statements I heard in a long time. I'll
What
give
is
you your flowers. You know what? I know how humble you and Louie are, but motherfuckers like you and Louie deserve a lot of credit for for the contributions y'all put in this fucking space.
ab-
And I'm gonna make sure people hear your shit. Y'all might be humble and don't want me to talk about it some, but that's not the type of nigga I am. Forgive
absent?
me.
No, it's fine. Absent mindedness is really when people ain't thinking about your ass.
And thank you. Say no 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 no. Excuse me for a minute. We gotta excuse me. Go in after this fucking commercial.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
I need you to go in like All Might about that one.
I mean, it is what it is. If somebody actually cared about you, if you was like, even in the middle of their mind, they'd be like, oh, wait, don't forget about such and such. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't in the top five, you definitely between 6 and 10. But if you ain't in the top 10, they ain't thinking about you. They ain't thinking about you. Even though you may have done, you know, you may have given them the moon and the stars and the sun and everything. But you have to sit back and really examine the whole relationship and ask yourself, was it reciprocal or was it just you trying to, in all honesty, I wouldn't say buy their affection or anything like that, but it was unrequited. It was completely one sided. It's
Mhm.
just that because they allowed you to talk to them and be in their space, you thought everything was cool.
Some people use people as either a confirmation point. Some people use people as a confirmation point, and some people use people, shout out to BGS, as emotional labor. Because if I gotta look at you twice within less than a month on major events, what are you doing for your birthday? I don't know. Hey, what you doing? Well, my family did this get together. Okay. No invite? It's my daughter's birthday. No invite?
Don't even ask.
Even even though I'm already busy doing shit, it's the purpose of the invite.
Don't even ask. Don't even ask.
Think about it.
If I have to ask you, then I already know what the answer is. I shouldn't have to ask you.
Think about it. And then you try to come back and say, well, you know what her birthday is. That's not the point. If I gotta look at you different when significant things happen in 1 month, too significant, and I'm gonna put it out there so the motherfucker could know it's them. I gotta look at you different. You want to talk to me about your stupid ass friends. You want to talk to me about your stupid ass daughter. But when it's time to fellowship, you don't fuck with me like you used to. What's that old song? Running Away by who? Roy Ayers. You don't scratch my back like you used to. Do shibby do. Run, run, run. But a guy like you and I are okay with that, are we not?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I'm cool with shit. I've told many a motherfuckers, you burn down bridges I built, I'll let you swim in shark infested waters to get to land. And I won't even piss on you to fuck if you're thirsty. I won't even defecate in your area if you're hungry. But that's the black America I see.
That's
Don't
the black.
talk to me about your bad shit. Don't talk about me with your bad shit. But when celebrations come, you don't hit me up. I feel a little funny about that. Well, it was no, no, no. If you talk bad about your ex husband, but you ask him because he got a truck, talk to that nigga. I got enough problems on my own to deal with. I will separate. People don't understand something about men. Men can separate themselves and be happily alone. Am I lying? Am I lying, Beth?
No, not at all. Yo, when I was by myself, when I was in Ohio, all I did, I just worked two jobs. I just worried about myself. I worried about myself, and life was it was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. I mean, it's easy to get female company, you know, but trust me, you will enjoy if you're productive. If you're productive, you will enjoy the quiet.
Because this is how I catch people. If your birthday is the first of the year, my birthday's April 1st, but I invite you out to times, and I'm like, yeah, what you doing for your birthday? Well, we did something at the house. Okay. No invite? Your daughter's birthday was yesterday. No invite. Me and my son knows your birth. My son, we knew each other's kids for like over 12 years.
Wait. Hold on. Question: is this somebody that you were? Uh, y'all do push-ups? Y'all work out together?
No, that's one of my exes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Y'all do push-ups. Y'all work out together. Trying not to be vulgar.
No, we Vogue over here. I haven't touched that chick in years.
Didn't touch
Now,
her in years. But
now,
that, but who else was there? You say she was there with the ex?
the ex-husband, which is not the daughter's father.
It doesn't matter.
It
That,
does not
that's
matter. But
that's two
here's the
penises
but
in
here's the part
the
that I
same room
but here's
she
the part that
had
I
fun
go
with.
ahead.
Says, listen, that's two penises in the same room that she had fun with. So she picked him over you. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. And you using him because he had a truck because we had a snowstorm. And I have an SUV, so it doesn't matter. I actually have a six seater. But I said, you know what? When I talk to you, which is probably going to be tomorrow or the next day, well, today or the next day, I'm very clever the way I bring shit up. I said, what's funny? There are certain things that you say and do that make people look at you strange. That's the reason why I love that Roy Ayers running away because it doesn't mean that bitch you running away. It means I can run away. Don't call me when you have a bad time. Don't call me. I don't want to hear your shit. I don't want my. If you want my emotional labor, buy me lunch. Buy me cigars. Buy me a bottle. See, can I go black pill for a minute?
Be $5, but go ahead.
$5 is good. This is what the fuck people like Bay and BGS and myself mean. You're emotional labor. You want to hear from me? You want to get my advice? Nah, nigga, you gotta pay for my shit. Well, can you write this? Can you write this and said I was part of your business? Sure. What you owing me? Reciprocity is king in my court. Nothing is done for free. And I know people might say, well, Charles, that's petty. And I'm actually, well, is it?
Where?
Especially if you, huh?
Where? Where is it
And I
petty?
said, well, if we were supposed to be on some friendly shit, see, people don't understand this. Correct me if I'm wrong. The offer is everything, you know? Because the offer alone says a lot about your person, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I had my birthday celebration at a cigar lounge, you might can't stand to smoke. I've had a woman I didn't even meet personally in person come up to the cigar lounge than people I invited. Well, there were other people who came, and I don't even talk to that chick anymore. That meant something. I'll give her credit for that. But it goes back into what black people don't understand about class. You can't use that excuse. Well, I can't be in a cigar lounge if years ago when we were together, you threw me a surprise birthday party at a cigar lounge.
Now that's nice.
I give her credit for that. But like I said, you like being around mediocre people, and I get it. And what you do to me, what I do to you, what I do for you. But my love was so true. I love that song, boy. That's
I
great.
see. Uh, damn it! I'm trying to find this show I watched, and now it's been popping up in my YouTube shorts about a guy. He was simping hard for this girl, and then one day he just stopped. And the problem was like he had been like chasing her ever since like I think like right before I think it was the first year of junior high.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
Right. And he'd been chasing her and chasing her, and she kept rejecting him and everything, but she never I mean, when a chick be like, look, leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, let me back off, But she never did that until one day he just decided, you know what? Yeah, I am gonna leave you alone. So he did. What do you think happened when he decided to do that?
She started chasing him
But why?
because she knew that she couldn't get that attention anymore.
Exactly. She
Because
wanted her personal
what
over
I'm going to ask you this one question: what's a god without worship?
there. uh, vessel,
What's a god without worship, my dude?
an empty vessel. That's pretty much the whole story of the Beyonder in Marvel. You remember the
Yep.
Beyonder?
Yep. What's a
Yeah,
god? What's a goddamn god without worship? I,
he is nothing.
what's a god without worship? And I say this because, oh, excuse me, I say this not because Charles is a simp. And notice Charles is very candid about his life. Charles is who he is because of what he is. Charles is who he is because of his training, expertise, education, and experience. Meaning, if Charles sees you as a threat, what is going to happen?
You're not going to murder us, are you?
It's not murder if if it's justified, right?
Shit, we need to go over your moral card.
Who said I? Who said I have morality?
wake up
Sure.
like on, wake up like on Goodfellas. 38
You gotta,
snubs pointed at you.
you gotta
You didn't
understand
do the
something.
dishes.
You gotta understand something. When when you come for a motherfucker like me, right? I don't go by morality. I just go by what it is. Does a lion has morality when he chases down a gazelle?
To himself.
There is no morals. I'm hungry. Your food. I gotta eat. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's morally right for the lion.
Should I starve because this gazelle is a lesser being to me?
Huh? You know what they say about lions and sheep?
What did they say?
A lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep.
No, no, they don't. So I don't. When I tell people this shit, and I tell them beforehand, don't think that I'm acting funny when I put you in a certain box. And you're like, well, damn, why'd you do that? I said, let me explain this to you, right? If I offer you the ability to come near me, come around me, because you know what type of person I am, I'm very private. Because of my upbringing, because of my experiences, I don't like a lot of people I can't trust because I can't afford that. What does that tell you? If I
You
give you my
have a
personal
tight inner
number,
circle.
huh?
You have a tight inner circle.
Exactly. If you don't get that, sorry for you. And many of times, people, unfortunately, don't get it. And because of their ignorance, because of what they thought was brilliant, I had to say this. I mean, Zach Powers, why don't you come on here and ask the question? Because we're going to prove if you're a lion or a sheep. And I'm pretty sure you don't roar, you just say, bah.
Nope. Sorry. I'm still trying to find it. I think it's a good watch. I think it's a good watch for brothers who are, you know, struggling or whatnot. Especially if you have kids. Ah, here we go. Especially if you have kids, it's a good watch for them. Okay, it's called The Dreaming Boy is a Realist.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it in here. The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. That's a damn good show. There you go.
Oh yeah, put
I
that
put
shit in the chat.
that's a damn good show. The way she started crashing out whatnot because he wasn't her orbiter. Because what it does, he said, you know what, I'm gonna leave you alone because apparently I'm your only outside of some other girl, I'm your only friend. And he felt he was holding her back. So he stopped fucking with her like that. So that way she could get on with her life, get a boyfriend and all that stuff. But the second that other chicks start paying him attention, here she come with the hand on the chest and would you like some lunch and all, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get him back into the orbiter zone.
Mm-hmm. What happens when that orbiter values himself?
He grows. He grows. You grow psychologically, spiritually, all the ways that, matter of fact, financially, because even though you may not be dating somebody, you'll like, you know, like you saying, buy birthday gifts, all of this stuff for somebody, unrequited love. You're an orbiter, you're part of the fan club. And a lot of brothers don't understand that they be part of these chicks' fan clubs, like in real life. You don't get it. Just because she smile in your face and let you hang out or whatnot. But the second, oh, we're just friends. Like, yeah, you're the fan club. You're an orbiter. You're a fan club. She never gonna give you that cookie, no matter how hard you try to break your neck. Oh my God, they put it on behind the paywall on Amazon. But no matter how hard you try to break your neck, trying to prove that you a good guy and not a nice guy. Nice guys are snakes, but you trying to prove that you're a good guy, a decent guy. Oh, and then they fuck with you and say, oh, I wish I could meet a guy that was like you. Like, bitch, I'm right here. Yeah, but I don't want you. You're like my brother. Like, do understand she don't want a guy like you. Look at who she sleep with.
Hey,
She just say that to keep your ass. She just fucked the dog shit out of one of your friends or acquaintances because he saw her at a party. Yo, man, what's up with that chick? Oh, it's my friend. Oh, she seen anybody? No. Well, fuck. Next thing you know, he done smashed either that night or a couple of days later. And then when you find out, and she all heartbroken because she tried to make something of it. Why can't I meet a guy like you? You know what I'm saying? Because she know that you should be like, bitch, fuck you. Like, you gonna fuck this nigga? Like, but you said why am I fucking with you? Am I making sense?
total. I'm not. Here's
I
the point.
I hate to talk about this shit because the audience, the demographic that we have are dudes that are over the age of 40. So it shouldn't even be a matter of discussion as to where dudes are learning something new. I should be talking into what do they call it? An echo chamber with this stuff. So I really don't like to talk about it, but if you have sons, nephews, whatnot, I mean, if you can get your hands on their ear,
Do it early.
you got to educate them early. You got to educate them early because, good Lord, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have said, man, if I knew then what I knew now, how your life would be different. I remember my little brother when he was 8. No, actually, he was 10. He was 9 at the time, but I wrote a diary, like a journal. And every day on every page, I put down a life lesson of everything that I learned and how I wish I would have did it like this or did it like that. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much wrote him 365 pages of a guidebook. And I never saw him again because I never gave him a chance to give him the book.
And I've done that for many a men. I've said, look, learn from my mistakes. And even with this one, not saying it's a mistake because I've already hit. I've been in a relationship with this chick. I mean, have I got a lot out of her? Yes. Has she got a lot out of me? Yes. It's just lately I had to talk, I had to check her ass. And it was like when she tried to say, well, you know my daughter's birthday. I said, no, 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 no. Shorty, let's hold up. It's one thing if I know, but it's another thing if you tell me, okay, what you doing for it. Even when I ask you what you doing for yours. And I said this before, no invite. I said I know where I stand. I said I know where I stand. The same
All right.
motherfuckers the same, like I told her before, the same motherfuckers you talk shit with, including your brothers and sisters and some of your family, your ex-husband, are the same motherfuckers you converge with.
But you know it ain't like that, Charles.
But guess what? Hold that note because I'm gonna be like this. Like she doesn't like the fact that I said it's you and only you. Well, no, 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 motherfucker. You mad because I told you you're a bad picker of men. Because my mother doesn't ask her ex husband, who's my father, to take her anywhere. Neither does my father ask my mother. Hold your own ovaries. That's what I tell people. Hold the motherfuckers. And when people hold you accountable to certain shit, I tell a lot of motherfuckers, I said, look, don't get mad when I tell you, yeah, meet me here, but you paying the tab because we got to talk. Well, I don't know. No, 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 motherfucker. If them strange motherfuckers you hang out with have more fucking things than me, then don't call me anymore. I don't give a fuck. You could live 1,000. We could live both 1,000 years, and I'll act like I've told motherfuckers who live in my house, get out my house so we can pretend. We don't even pretend. Treat me like I don't exist, and I'll treat you the same, out of respect. The same thing I tell people all the time. People you think that are close, if you don't go through this year and look through your friends list and say, wait a minute, why do I still talk to this motherfucker? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not giving her birth boyfriend privileges. Even chicks I talk to, I tell a motherfucker quick. I don't give a fuck if you're 60 or if you're 20. Until that motherfucker proves something to you, you don't stop your you don't stop your prospects. Okay? You don't stop your motherfucking prospects. Because at the end of the fucking day, you think she gonna stop her prospects for you?
Hell no. For what? What is there some money in it?
Exactly.
Or a purse? Or some shoes?
Don't you ever do that. I never have. Why are you talking to this one chick? Because I can't trust you yet. And that's righteous to do so, right?
Yeah.
When people don't understand a man should put his priorities above you, he's righteous. I can literally be fucking married and my wife would be like, "You work too much." I said, "Okay. What should we do?" Because are you going to complain about, well, we need to get this bill paid? Well, if the answer is well, then you shouldn't complain. Just saying. Super. I told a lot of chicks this one saying, "What do you think about this, bae? You should have got me when I was cheap."
What's cheap?
When you had my full attention with no competition, when you had me with very little expectations needed, you know the term nose wide open? Okay, I'm interested. Tell me more about yourself.
Wait, I think in all honesty, she did you a favor.
Oh yeah, trust me.
You know, I
I,
mean,
I've, said, I've said that because will I address it? Of course, because I addressed it before. And I said, uh, I gotta tell you, I said I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel a little something, feel a little way because if I had some major event like a birthday or a child's birthday or a child's prom, I would invite you. If you can make it out, you make it out. But at least the offer was given. Did I make your children's prom? No, because I was working. But you don't work the same schedule, so it's more likely you'll make it before I do. So, like I said before, when I catch you on your bullshit, don't get mad when niggas treat you accordingly. And I love treating motherfuckers accordingly because to me, that's the most righteous thing you could do. And by the way, Bay, I'm sending you part of the story of the background of the characters in your email. Like I
uh,
said, people do you a lot of favors, man. You think I'm pissed about it? No, no. I am far from pissed because guess what? That's what today was. Today was when I got my fucking disability from the fucking VA. I got to pay for your whole daughter's thing out of generosity. Your loss, not mine. I just paid for extra food for my house. It's supposed to snow again. What's Friday, Saturday? Guess what took priority? My house, not yours.
What the hell?
I'm just giving examples.
Oh.
I'm not heartbroken or no shit like that. Fuck no. Too old for that shit. Now, did you get it in your email?
Yeah. Did that link pop up in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Because everything else, the whole time you was talking, I was trying to find it where you could watch it for, if you couldn't watch on the free streaming service, then,
Yeah.
you know.
I tell people all the time, man. This is the reason why you prioritize yourself above all. Because this is the reason why I tell you, and women prove it ever again, because men have what? Loyalty. Women don't have loyalty. They have options. Okay?
You mean when they be branch monkey?
Don't call me when shit's needed. Nah, don't, no. Don't make yourself don't make yourself available. The one beautiful thing about Charles on Faulkner Jr., I'm not too available. One chick was like, I guess you didn't want the hug. I said I did, but I had to make sure my mother was okay, and then it starts snowing. So what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking wreck my shit because you want a hug? You know where the fuck I live. If you want to fuck me, just say you want to fuck me. You're right. To know thyself is to know Becca. What's the old saying? When I went to go see God, to find God, I found myself. When I tried to go found myself, I found God. But notice this is not the shit you typically hear in manosphere spaces. I don't have no hatred towards women. Let's just tell the truth. Guys like Bay and myself, and I'm pretty sure a good number of people in the chat, it's not hard for us to find women. Not even close.
This culture is so decadent. There's nothing. I put it to you like this: you're trying to find a rose in concrete, but what happens to a rose that's born out of concrete? What happens to the petals?
It dies quickly. There's
Let's,
no place to grow. It
let's
goes
say it
stagnant.
survives.
Huh?
Let's say it survives and it gets to full bloom. What does the petals look like?
Underdeveloped.
Then scarred and battered and bruised.
Yeah.
Lucky to have survived it all.
Yeah.
Now, try to date somebody that has that psychological makeup in this culture. I mean, do understand there's no such thing as a perfect person, but then you put psychological damage on top of just the human inequities. Yeah,
That's the reason why. Shout out to Sad Dog. That's the reason why we talked about, you talked about, and I talked about you don't fall into idol worship. And that's the biggest fucking problem with black men. What's one of the biggest commandments God put in there in the Ten Commandments? Should I say it or you want to say it?
you can say it
I'm gonna need your help with this one. When I went looking for God, who did I find?
yourself.
And when I went looking for myself, who did I find?
You found God.
So if God's in me and I'm God, and one of the Ten Commandments says, "Thou shalt not have any God before me," what did God just tell you?
Do not put others before yourself.
Thank you. Say it again for the niggas in the back.
Do not put others before yourself.
Does that make sense, my nigga? Can
Why
I
do you?
get a woo? Can I get a woo for the chat for that breakdown? Whoa! Hold on. Where's Slick Rick? Where's Slick Rick? We gotta have fun with this shit.
Oh, we're gonna put the Slicky Ricks on. Well, I'm gonna see how tricky you are.
Oh yeah. See, people don't understand what we just broke down. If God is me and God is with me, why am I putting other people before myself?
What does God stand for in the metaphysical circles?
Go ahead.
Generator, operator, destroyer.
Destroyer. I'm a creator, maintainer, and a destroyer.
Yeah.
And what's one of the deepest statements in Dragon Ball history by
I don't.
Lord Beerus?
What does it say?
Before creation must come what? Destruction. Why do you think Lord Beerus' position was so important?
I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy. I know
In
absolutely.
other words,
I'm sorry.
and I'm gonna tell you why. He was the god of destruction. The supreme god, the supreme Kai, which is his counterpart, his opposite, is the god of creation. There has to be destruction to maintain balance, right?
Are you telling me Dragon Ball Z is metaphysical?
Very. Just like He-Man, just like Thundercats.
X
Very.
Men, the original X Men
The Chris
were
Claremont. Remember the Chris Claremont X-Men.
right. They were very like
Metaphysical.
yeah, and when
When
they
you
dealt
read
with
my story,
what's his name?
and the characters, and you get to know the characters, they're very metaphysical.
Who's the guy?
One of my characters has two deities in his bloodline that he carries. That's his title. That's who he is. They can actually take over his personality. That's how deep it goes. Okay.
Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler.
So
He was very he was crazy.
if somebody calls you the god of strength, what does that mean?
I'm sorry, go ahead. My
If you,
mind I was going back.
I'm gonna ask you with Sad Dog. If you have a character called the god of strength, what does that mean?
That means that person is all powerful.
But this is the way I tweaked it in my story. And I hope you send me your email in the back. He's not only the god of physical raw strength, he's the god of the physical, mental, the spiritual, and the emotional strength.
Ah.
But
So
he also has another dichotomy. He also has the god of war in him.
so he will be the god of strength and courage.
Yep, he's the god of the physical,
Yeah.
the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And he's also the god of war, meaning the supreme commander, meaning he becomes nothing but combat. There is no combat, there is no weapon that will ever be made as above his pay grade. There is no command above him. He becomes nothing but, he is literally war incarnate when that comes upon him. He just sees X's and O's, and if you're that goddamn X, God be with you.
No.
And but yet, what was his master's duty? Strength shows you. Strength gives you the ability to do anything. Restraint shows you when you don't have to.
Yeah.
And see, that's the metaphysical shit I'm writing. That does that sound like a masculine book you would give to your kid or your nephew or your little cousins?
Yeah.
Let's take a
Because
read.
because I had to take stories and lessons I learned personally from myself and take it, of course, it's a little embellished. Some of it's actually real as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you. And when you hear the story between him and his master, because Lost loved that shit. He even did a meme, take my money. You wonder why he's the way he is.
Wait, you want to hear something sexy?
Besides myself. Go
Federal
ahead. Go.
Federal appeals court declines to limit ICE agents in Minnesota. I just felt a tingle.
How you gonna decline Ice Ages doing their job? What the fuck did I start this live stream with? If a if a law enforcement agent or officer does anything illegal and immoral while you're a criminal with a badge and gun. But if you're doing your duty, you're doing your duty.
Yeah. Because
Let me tell you.
I just
Let me
think,
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because I know a couple of y'all that are former cops. If you're getting ready to arrest a suspect, you got them cornered or whatnot, and all of a sudden somebody starts getting in the way of you doing your official duty, and you tell them to go sit their ass down, and they put their hands on you, and then y'all get the tussling, and they're resisting arrest, and then let's say it's you and your partner, and you hear your partner yell "gun." You're a former cop. What's your next move?
Are you asking Charles Faulkner? Are you asking Specialist Sergeant Faulkner? Are you asking Police Sergeant Faulkner who had to
I'm
run a
asking
tip?
all the Faulkners.
Number one, if you put your hands on me, I had a rule. Say what you want to me, I don't care. It does your words don't hurt me. I may say something that may demoralize you. But if you put your hands on me or my partner, you're not going to central bookings, you're going to shock trauma. Okay? There's
Yeah,
many a times I had a warrant for an arrest for some of the slimiest individuals who beat up their baby mama in front of their 2 year old daughter. I had guys I had to put a gun to their fucking temple because they put a fucking knife to their 5 month pregnant baby mama. There's women I had to fucking arrest who took a vase to their husband's head because they know their husband has a business where he gets called 24/7 to make that money where they live in this big ass house. Your husband's a lawyer. How many times a day can a lawyer be called?
shit. You on call 25/8 and twice on Sunday.
Exactly. You got to make extra hours. So you're living in a fucking $1.5 million mini mansion in Charles Village, and a woman has you on retainer, and the retainer starts at $35,000. Are you going to answer that fucking call?
Oh shit! Hell yeah! She'd be like, "Damn, I ain't even hear it ring."
But guess what the wife did? She picked up the brass fucking night the brass fucking lamp and cracked him in his fucking head while he was half asleep. Split his shit.
Because he answered the phone.
Mm-hmm. And he even showed us the paperwork where she has him on retainer. She's a major business owner. $35,000 retainer, which is a good damn way to pay that fucking $1.5 million mortgage, right?
Wait. You know how to handle that? I would just whisper to him. I'm like, "Look, me and my partner going walk to the squad car to figure this out. On our way there, if something happened, I mean, it's your word against hers because we didn't see nothing.
Well, we
And
couldn't because they ran to us, and he was leaking. He was leaking like a bad transmission.
I hear you, but you know what I mean.
I get it. If it was old school and you had five cops right there. Kind of hard to do.
Like
And
we didn't see nothing. Crack, just beat the. Woo! You got 30 seconds to get all the licks in you can, bro. Before we turn around and be like, what was that?
because me personally, you crack my head and I'm paying a fucking $1.5 million mortgage. I'm
Ooh.
giving you the fucking Arn Anderson spine buster into the sharpshooter,
Mm-mm.
and I'm giving you nothing but that Randy Couture. And you crack my shit, and I'm paying 1.5 million. I'm giving you a lifestyle you could even most Americans could even dream of. I'm not cheating because I'm obviously in the bed with you. He showed us the paperwork where she has him on retainer. So I've been there, done that. What's up, Sand Dog? You want to get in? I know you want to get in about the idol part, but see how shit becomes full circle, Sand Dog.
Yeah, man. It definitely does. Because I just wanted to do this, man, and I'll let you guys keep talking, but it goes back to the fact that look, nobody wakes up desiring to worship idols, right?
Mm.
And like I said,
Go in, please go in. We
so
need you to go in.
you have to understand, like I said, when you look at our culture and you look at the things that we value, right? And so, especially in Black man world, one of the things that we put high up on a pedestal is what? Pussy, right? That it's too, and it's like it's actually too high on the pedestal, right? And so this is what happens when you are missing your traditional rites of passage type rituals, right? Because people end up going into nonsense that has nothing to do with what actually makes you a man or what actually makes you a woman, right? And so idol worship starts with what? What misplaced admiration, right? So the whole thing of, again, like, girls like me, whatever it is that you value. So if you value, kitty cat and that female attention above many other things, right? You're well on your way to making that your idol, right? And so again, there's nothing wrong with admiration, but the shift in it happens when you become dependent on something, right? So now you'll say, so now I admire women, right? Pussy is what I want. And then before you know it, right, you're living with her, you're driving her car, you're drinking her kids' Capri Suns and everything else, right? And so you went from being at some point your own man to, to now being under her control. And that's the beginning of it, right? Again, when you start attaching yourself to other things besides God, right? So now you're attached to her, right? And so, you get attached to her. And so this now she runs your inner world, right? So whatever your motivations are, whatever your plans are, like you guys said earlier, right? You stop focus on self and developing self, and everything now becomes about her, right? Again, it's the source of your identity, right? So, hey, I'm so and so's man, or that's my girlfriend, and you're doing, hashtag, I don't know what Kim Kardashian them used to do when they would put their boyfriend's name and their names together. So like hashtag Kimye, and all that other kind of shit, right? And so when your idol worship now becomes your identity. So even for us, right? It even comes down to us in America with the whole black and white thing, right? That is idol worship, right? Because black and white are not real identities, right? They are things assigned to us within the American caste system, right? So getting swallowed up in that black versus white thing, Republican versus Democrat, again, that's still idol worship, right? Because this is how people are going to define themselves. And then, you begin to obey the idol, right? You sacrifice time money, and everything else. So when you should be working out and when you should be studying, right, there you are, committed yourself to chasing booty out in the streets, and here you are, right? Again, the idol becomes your veil, right? And so, truth, accountability, humility, the bigger picture, right? You no longer see all of that, right? You now become one of the two men that are in the cave, right? If you're familiar with Plato's cave, right? One guy makes it out and gets to see the real world. The other guys in the cave can only look at shadows and interpret them. And so when the guy who's seen the real world comes back into the cave and tells those guys what's out there, they don't believe him, right? And finally, you become enslaved to the idol, right? Again, ideology, public image, addiction, all of these things, right? And so, since to Black people in general, or Americans in general, freedom is nothing more than to engage in conspicuous consumption and hedonism. That's what freedom is to an American. But again, God says freedom is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is when you control the factors of production, which are land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, right? And so, what is the devil telling you now? You will own nothing, but you will be happy. So God put you on earth to be sovereign, right? Did he not say Adam had dominion? So God put you on earth to be sovereign. So now when you get caught up in idol worship, you lose all of those things, right? Because you end up
Mhm.
selling that for trinkets, right? You end up selling that, like I said, you end up selling that, again, for pennies on the dollar, and your access to trinkets and your access to pleasure, right? So while you think that you're getting ahead, no, you're not actually getting ahead. You're being deceived, right? Because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness equals to other things that I just said, right? It's ultimately within an American context, which is ultimately what freedom is, which is why you have the Second Amendment, which is to protect that sovereignty. So
Mhm.
you have to have a Second Amendment within yourself, right, to control your own penis, right? So like the Prophet Muhammad said, if you can control your mouth, your stomach, and your private parts, right, you will be well off, right? So hold on. So let's say, and I want to close it with this, and I know I'm going fast. MLK quote
You good?
on man, yeah. So again, so this when you talk about, I'm sorry, guys, hold on one second. Let it come up for me, right? You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about these things, it's like Martin Luther King says this, right? Right? Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. Nobody else can do this for us, right? This is what Martin Luther King is telling Black people, right? And he says, hold on, okay, wait 1 second, hold on, hold on, oh, so right, you said so. Martin Luther King says the Negro must sign with the pen and ink of assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation, right? Move down into the inner sources of your own soul and sign with the pen and ink of self assertive manhood your own Emancipation Proclamation, right? And so, again, this is something that is from within. So, you're going to have to set yourself free. You're going to have to set yourself free of all of this, of so much of this bullshit, right? Because that's not what freedom is about. And I think our desire and our lust for women is something that comes in the package of our society in terms of what we believe success is. And so, as a result of that, like I said, as a result of that, you end up down the slippery path of idol worship, which is what happens when your society is in the position of what, not in the position, I can't say it, the level or a cycle, if I could find the right way to say it. So when your society is now engaged or in the place of decadence, right? This is where idol worship could more than likely end up becoming something wholesale or things that people don't see, right? Or not wholesale, actually something common and accepted, right? Instead of things that people would have rejected, instead of people what people would have rejected before. And so I'm sorry, guys, I'm rushing. I'm trying to make the point fairly quickly, but if you can, to the best of your ability, avoid, like I said, avoid the idol worship, right? And don't get swallowed up in it. Don't make something else your master, right? So again, it starts with misplaced admiration, right? Attaching your heart to things instead of the creator. The idol becomes a source of your identity. The person begins to obey the idol. The idol becomes a veil. And then finally, you become enslaved to the idol, right? So don't live, like I said, don't live for pleasure, because that will be the danger of a woman. Because what is a woman? And women themselves are not dangerous, but for men, right? So when a lot of guys come into the space and they're talking about women, again, how did you get caught up in this? Because at the end of the day, a woman is a byproduct of success. She, in and of herself, is not success. So if you're talking about some women that turned you down when you were 21, 22 years old, or even younger. So now, what is woman for a man? Woman for a man is peace, comfort, and pleasure, right? So those types of things are an end goal, right? So you could have moments of it. You could have moments of it, but peace, comfort, and pleasure, right? That's heaven, right? That's the hereafter. Right now, you're supposed to be striving, right? And struggling to accomplish whatever task or purpose that you're designed to do on earth, right? So why would I so you'll say, so for a lot of men, right? Why are you in idol worship? Because for a lot of men, that woman is the end game. That woman is my hereafter on earth. The house, the kids, right? Laying in her lap and all of that other stuff. So again, we could get deeper into it, but to the best of your ability, like I said, please avoid the idol worship in terms of the idea that the woman is the end all be all and that she's the finish line. She's not the finish line. God is the finish line, right? And the Bible, from ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And in Islam will say, from God we come and from him we return. So it's not your girlfriend, it ain't your wife, right? Nor is it your favorite side chick. So to the best of your ability, pray for me, right? Pray for us all, right? That idol worship is something that we never fall into. And with that, guys, peace, man, and I'll holler.
Oh, thank you. And that's the part where people forget that people forget that you got to put yourself above all. There's no way in hell you should let anybody or anything get to be your God. If it ain't your God, it ain't you.
But I thought I was supposed to worship vagina.
You thought wrong.
All right, let me get out of here. We gotta go to the video store in the morning. I will catch y'all later. What's up, Sam? Oh, he's left. Damn.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
I'm out of here, Charles.
peace.
Peace.
Anybody else want to come up here? You're free to do so. Um, I'm gonna just say this. It's like, yo, there is nothing wrong with being your own entity. Okay? Like I told you, if you're not going through this new year within the first month cleaning house or what's prosperous and what's not prosperous, then something's wrong with you. If you look at yourself and you don't like the way you look in the mirror, that's a you problem, not everybody else problem, okay? That's definitely a you problem. Notice you had two great content creators come up here and tell you about idol worship. I even told you about people in my life. Well, I gotta have a conversation, even though I had the conversation earlier, but I'm gonna have a more in depth one. I noticed this. When it's something you need or something you want to talk about or get some information, you'll hit me up. But when it's like some laid down, laid back family shit, where's the invite? This didn't happen within several months. This happened in the same month of the new year. No invite, no nothing, no know what it is. But when I treat people the same way, oh, that's fucked up, Charles. Why not? I'm only giving you the same shit that you give me. I can only do what you give me. And that's the fundamental part that I will tell anybody and everybody. I will tell you as the individual, what the fuck are you doing with your life? If I gotta question certain people, if I gotta question certain people and them motherfuckers are not doing me right, you don't need a place in my life. And some people may even hear this shit and be like, yo, that's fucked up, Charles. You said this and that. Nah, nigga. We're gonna keep it funky. If we go back and I had your back no matter what, and you have my back no matter what, what's the difference now? If you can't do the same for other people, then you got a problem. And I think that's one of the black men's greatest sins. If we can't go and have this discrepancy and say, yo, what's up, Sandog?
What's going on, Charles? I'm sorry, I got a different question, and I know it's deviating from what you were talking about. Is it okay if I question?
Yo, trust me, we open here. Shit, don't matter.
I wanted to get your perspective. You know, Charles, it's funny, right? That you're a Aries and I'm a Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
The
Have you ever
justice.
have you ever picked up on that?
You love justice, don't you?
Yeah.
The God of War, the God of War, and the scales of justice. Kind of
Yeah.
an interesting connection, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, and the funny part is most of the Aries that I know are calm. They're very calm people. That's the fun. That's the irony of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you look at Justice League, right, with what was that, Hawk and Dove, right?
Mm-hmm.
War, right? Said, said, the Libra was the one that would get agitated, and the one that was for war was just was calm. So even what I think in all DC characters, Wonder Woman would represent Libra,
Yeah,
right?
because she develops justice. I think it's kind of funny because some people, when BGS did my Zodiac house, the whole wheel, he was like, no wonder he likes Superman because you have an Aries sun and a Cancer moon, which gives fatherly energy.
Yes,
But you're the god of war, so it's the fierce protector.
yes,
And
yeah.
most people don't get that.
Because the question that I have, Charles, is that right now, people, like, you take the United States, right? And so people will complain, oh, America's out to take over the world, and America backs this, they back that, and they are, the source of evil, etc. But the thing about it is that all nations seek to control their territory, and all nations seeks to control themselves from inside and out. So all nations seek to control themselves and the territories around them. And
Mm-hmm.
so my question would be is that if this is the I get I get the whole concept where people have nothing against the way things are. They just don't like their place in it. And my thing is that if people really wanted to end empire, and like, well, this is the question I'm asking. I'm sorry for rambling. Are people really truly interested in ending empire? Or is it that they just don't like where they fall, that they just don't like their current pole position, right? Because all nations, one way or another, are engaged and trying to control the world around them, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be my question, right? And so, if people are looking for control, because at the end of the day, most people don't appreciate cooperation, right? They appreciate power. So if you value power and control over peace and cooperation, why are you complaining about empire, right? Like I said, again, you may not like your pole position, but if you wanted to get rid of empire on a collective scale, right, you would have to value peace over cooperation. And huge parts of the world do not do that. And so now what my question is that how could America be wrong? How can America be wrong or unjust? So when America says peace through strength, right? The rest of the world say, oh, that's horrible. But the rest of the world itself values power and strength. So it's not like the rest of the world is operating on peace and cooperation. The rest of the world itself is operating on power and strength. So, with that being the reality, what makes America wrong and whatever it's going to do?
Simple. It's because a lot of people, number one, this is what I told people. If you look at Israel, Russia, and China, they have mandatory service, right?
Yes.
Most people in America are ignorant to service.
Did I lose you?
Still here. Still here.
Yes, sir. Most people in America are ignorant to.
They're ignorant because they don't understand service.
Yes.
And when I mean service
I,
is when you put your ass on the line. Most people don't understand that. So when we have this folly of service, it goes back into the people who don't protect it complain the most. The people who don't put the most effort complain the most. It's like the overweight person or the overweight chick is upset because what? The guys don't like her like the fit chicks. The guy who never had power or never put themselves in a position where their body could be at the most optimal it could ever be. It's foreign to them. Why? Because it's something you never pushed yourself into be. And because of that, a lot of those individuals, oh shit. Sorry about that. A lot of those individuals have never been put in those positions of power. Why? Because they never tried. And when you're never given, because most people in this country are used to being what? Given things instead of earning them, what happens? You don't understand what Ben Parker told Peter many decades ago. With what? Great power, there's great responsibility. So when you get this hang up about power, you don't understand the real world because the real world is about power. You like your first world living, your first world class living, but you don't understand what it takes to maintain that shit. And what it maintains is very nasty, ugly things have to be done. Yeah, we got to go to Venezuela and we got to make a deal. We might have to kidnap a president or two. Unless you like your gas being $6 a fucking gallon. But people don't understand that concept. Why? Because most people in America, because of racism, because of classism, because of sexism, they love their little safe communities where they can complain. When you got to put your ass on the line about something, Sandog, is there any room for complaints?
No, there isn't.
When you don't force the masses to pull their own weight, because only 1/2 of 1% of the population of the United States ever, and I mean ever, protects it. How many people really have the room to complain if you break it down to those numbers?
Less than a 1%.
But how many people complain? Look at what's going on with ICE.
No.
Why are we complaining about people who don't have rights in this country? And then you had a whole 4 year administration who gave these people who basically dismantled schools in your neighborhoods, and I'm talking about you black people, to give them places to live, to give them food stamps, $6,000 in food stamps a month, when you could barely. How many of you even have fucking $200 worth of food in your refrigerator right now?
Yeah.
But then you got $10,000 in cash assistance. $10,000 a month, if you correct my math, is what? $120,000 a year, right?
Yes.
Which is well into the middle class. How does a person who has no rights to my country come into my country and become middle class when the overwhelming majority of my fucking citizenry are not that?
Yeah.
But you complain for people who don't even do it. You don't want to be the winner. You want everything handed to you.
Yeah. But my question would be, and so the second part to my question is, even like I said, for the rest of the world itself, right? So from where Sandog is living, right? The rest of the world itself is engaged in the same competition, right? And so this is my argument. Like, this is currently just the way that human beings operate. So if this is how human beings operate, who's right and who's wrong? Is there a right and wrong? That's what I'm saying. This is how we operate. So here's the thing. So if America didn't exist, right? If America didn't exist, war would still happen. People would still be looking to control resources, right? To dictate the destiny of themselves and the areas in which they live. America doesn't own this, right? So there was war long before America. So, especially in the old world, right? Come on, fam. Hammurabi's code was made on this side of the earth, right? People value people value power and strength, especially on this side of the world. So, on this side of the world, if you value power and strength, why would you be mad at America? Are you there, Charles? Did I lose you?
Hold on, I'm about to switch devices. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, it's very easy, man. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sandog? Hello? Hey, Sandog, can you hear me? Hopefully everything's going well. Well, to answer your question, it's very easy because, one, a lot of people don't even know what Hammurabi's code mean. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It's easy to say America's wrong, America bad, because you never had to face real evil. You never had to face real tyranny. There are some people who had to go through regime changes every walk of their goddamn life. Think about it. If you're born in Africa or the Middle East, how many regime changes did you face?
I don't hear you, Charles.
You don't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
I see your icon uh projecting sound, but I don't hear you.
Let me see something. Can you hear me now? Damn it. It's something about this damn shit. Oh boy, let me try one more time. What about now? Hopefully you can hear me now.
I don't know. Can the chat hear you, Charles, or am I the one that's messed up? Let me drop it, come back.
Okay.
Let me drop it, come back.
I need to make a formal complaint because these people owe me money because they've been fucking up my streams. They've been fucking up the flow, and that's costing me not only money but also time, especially when we're doing fire shit like this. I'm gonna have to make a formal complaint to StreamYards. because you're disturbing not only my guests but also my patrons. Um, let's you. Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
it was me. Sorry.
Let's. I'm gonna have to make a formal complaint to StreamYards about this shit. But to answer your question, it's like, what happens when you give a child toys that child does not deserve?
Correct. Yeah, you're in a sense you're rewarding bad behavior.
Exactly. It's easy for the blue haired liberal woman to complain about the government, but is she gonna go pick up a fucking rifle and defend it? Fighting for your rights is not complaining. That's what the first wave feminists did.
Yes.
Even the so-called racist white man said you can't outrank that black man because he fought for his shit.
Facts. Yep. The Confederacy said that. Yes, they did.
So, have you noticed throughout the years, feminism has never picked up a fucking gun? If you look at the history of feminism, and I'm a historian by trade, when has women ever fought for their rights the way men have? Never. How the fuck do you get? Think about this. And this is what makes men look stupid. Because I'm an equal opportunist by trade also. How the fuck do you give away rights you fought for to people who never fought?
Correct.
You're afraid to tell your woman, look, shut up. That motherfucker won fair and square. Get over it. But yet, what we'll do is we'll say everybody's included. At some point, like Bay said earlier, lions do not care about the opinions of sheep. If you're upset about the government, do what we did do the same shit that we did when it came to Great Britain about a 1% tax. Go to war over it. But you don't want to do that. You know why? Because you live very comfortably. No matter how much you want to call Trump racist, no matter how much you want to say this regime is oppressive, you're living pretty fucking good.
You, Charles, I said that too. I said until I see Americans, and I was talking at African Americans for a particular time, but Americans in general, and African Americans, I was having a conversation with. I said until until I see 50 of y'all come out of a 40-foot container somewhere in Europe or Asia looking for freedom, I'm not going to take you seriously.
No, no.
Right? So let's look at the collapse of Afghanistan, right? You have people falling off of airplanes because they didn't want to live with the Taliban.
Yeah. You know so much comfort. See, people like my dad, my grandfather, my great grandfather, and us. What do we all have in common? War.
Yes.
The ugliness of war. We saw, as I like to quote, and I said this for 20 plus years. God damn, Iraq has been over 23 years, man. God damn.
Yeah, bro. What was that? 03? Yeah,
Oh,
man. This is you in 2026 now, 23 years ago.
God damn. We're not old, but god damn,
We're old.
we're old. We're considered old soldiers, man. I said I want to put it to you this way, right? We've seen the best of humanity, but God knows we've seen the worst of humanity, did we not?
Yes. Yeah, you see both. In war, you actually get to see both.
And once again, only 0.5%, and even less than that, because we know, like you know, majority of the people during the global war on terror not go over. I've dated a chick who's been in the military. She'll be 40 this year, but guess what? She was in Korea. She never went to the sandbox. I've dated a chick who was in the Coast Guard. She's never been to the sandbox. The only chick I've dated who was a vet, she will not be named. Okay, fuck it, Stephanie. She's an Afghan war vet. If she was smart, we would have been married and we would have been raking in dough right now. But I digress. At least she, as a combat medic, seen war.
Yeah.
Out of those 3 women I've dated and been intimate with, only one has been to the sandbox or any conflict. So even less than 0.5% have seen combat. And it really fucks your head up because there's people who've never been into combat and get a 100% disability. Some because of medical reasons, I get it. Not mad at that. But it makes you think. We are so lax as a country that not even all of our fucking vets are combat vets.
Yeah.
Did you know, for all the listeners, when you go for federal jobs, they see you as, are you a protected veteran? There are some people who are veterans and not protected veterans. It's like you said in the chat, you're finally enslaved. When you look at the idolatry, people idolize feminism. That is their god. What happens when your god turns against you? Think about that. We don't have to go to the Bible and look at Baal. We don't have to look at the. We could just go right now and say, hey, and ask this one important question: has feminism benefited you? Has being independent made you a better woman? Or did it make you a better slave? Do you know how many women I know have 2 jobs? And I asked
Mm.
this one question. If you were married, would you work all them jobs?
Mm.
If you had if you had a decent man, would you work all them jobs?
And what do they say?
No. And it's not just because they said no, it's the way they say no. Because they know they're defeated in the even statement. You know how it is. You wrestle, you play sports. You know how it is when a motherfucker is defeated. Their body
Yes.
language, their
Oh,
voice.
especially when you're tired, when you can't, when you're tired and you can't move, and all you could do is just hold your guard.
Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
I've sparred with people. And God forbid, people were amazed about me just sparring with me or wrestling with me. I said, my God, you should have seen me when I was in shape. I was a god. I was relentless. I was like a swarming tsunami. I was like a fucking raging fire. I was the unstoppable herd. See, people forget the original radio show of Superman, more powerful than a raging hurricane. Do you know if you dropped a nuclear bomb in the middle of a hurricane, do you know what happened?
What will happen?
Nothing. Because the hurricane is emitting so much energy that it would not even be canceled out. You're gonna laugh when I sing you some of the profiles of some of my characters. The guy who trains the main character, his master was so powerful that he stopped a hurricane. He countered the force of a hurricane just with the wind resistance of his punch in the air.
Wow.
That means his punch is more powerful than several hundred nukes scientifically. So you're telling me that you're so defeated because you know goddamn well if you had somebody in your corner that can take the load, if not majority of the load, off your ass, you wouldn't be doing this. But because you were not trained to be a wife, and I had to tell my ex, the same chick, you're not trained to be a wife. You know why? Because if you were trained to be a wife, you would still be married. And she said, well, I divorced him because he made a baby outside that marriage. I said, motherfucker, you know how many women of yesteryear took care of babies that were not theirs? Hell, wasn't that in the movie Fences? Hell, let's look at this. How many chicks had babies by other men when they cheated and the man knew that wasn't their baby and he still took care of them? But because you were mad about public embarrassment, not saying that I agree with it. Yes, it's very fucked up and shameful in either realm, man or woman. But if you were trained to be a wife, your duty would have overtaken your embarrassment. Am I lying?
Yeah, but the thing is that I think, well, because remember, things have changed, right? So remember in the past, like, remember in the past, you had blended families, period, from both the man and the woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So again, so you had both. So back then, man, it was more or less of, again, were you to your point, were you handling business?
Exactly. And
But
here's
you,
my
yes,
oh, continue your thought,
no,
please.
that's it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what it was. It
And
was,
here-
yeah,
and here's my point. If that man wasn't handling business, why are you marrying men that are lesser?
yeah.
Why are you marrying women that are lesser? See, can I be black pill with you for a minute? Captain.
Yeah, you can.
One thing about Charles Lawrence Faulkner Jr., which is my full government name, so proud of it. I think my son even more proud when he was little. He was more proud. I'm Charles, but this is how he used to talk before you got all the bass in his voice. I'm Charles Lawrence Faulkner's dad. Well, you sound like you came from money, don't you? You gotta understand something. I live in the. This is the reason why I fucks with Clark Kent. Because no other hero, every other hero has a duality. Okay, he has a triality, if there's such a word, or a tertiary, whatever. He has to deal with the biological him, the working him, and how he was raised. Am I making sense?
Yes.
That's why he is so fucking unique. Okay? This is the reason why offline when we talk, why most people relegate the Batman, but Batman and T'Challa will look down upon you. Am I lying?
No.
Superman is who he is, not because of a duality. He has three fucking things he has to face. I am who I am because of my biology, because of how I was raised, and what do I do for work. Lois and Clark, I think we need to go over Lois and Clark, the new Adventures of Superman back in the 90s, which was so underrated. Actually, Lois and Clark gave the comics more meat on the bones when it came to the character of Clark Kent. Because notice you dealt with Clark more than Superman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was one scene that really sums up that whole series. Superman is what I do. Clark is who I am. But Kal-El is who I was born. If you never understood power, if you were never taught to tamp that power down, and if you never were told that under such and such time you could utilize that power, but by this time you got to tamp it down, you can't talk to a guy like yourself and myself, could you?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest part about being, and I know this is going to be another full circle, the warrior ethos. This is another show that I probably do. If not Tuesday, I'll probably do Wednesday. And I pray that you're going to be available Wednesday. We're going to talk about the modern warrior and where does he fit in the modern society.
He doesn't.
Thank you. Nigga, you better, black bag, you better say that again for the niggas in the back.
We are relics of the past, bro. You put yourself in the museum and people are like, oh, I know those.
We sit beside, currently, we're no
No,
different than
no,
the
man.
night. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, man. We belong in myth now, man. There's no, like I said, we belong in myth. So now we can only exist in your latest Marvel film, right? but to have us in real life, no. Like I said, real life doesn't want Steve Rogers. It doesn't want T'Challa. It doesn't want Bruce. It doesn't want Clark. It doesn't want Matt Murdock. It doesn't work. It doesn't want Ben Grimm. Right? He'll say it. No, not not in real life. We are now relegated to. We're now relegated to fiction because remember we had this conversation, right? And that's why a lot of people didn't understand Man of Steel because Steel, Man of Steel, man of virtue. And so, again, a lot of people wanted to go to a movie and see Superman being nice, right? They was like, remember, there wasn't any bright colors. He didn't smile. There weren't any jokes. So they wanted to see Superman be nice and not virtuous, not a man of steel,
A
right?
man
So
character.
correct. So nice is not a virtue, right?
Mm-mm.
The devil is nice.
Yeah, he's not tempting. He's charming.
Yeah,
I want you
he's
to think about this. I want you to think about. Sorry for cutting you off because I know you rocking.
yeah.
Why do you think my character? And I know I got your email. I hope I got your email. If not, put it in the back chat and I will send it
Hold
to
on,
you.
I'm putting it in the Facebook Messenger right now. My
Oh,
email.
and I'm gonna put this to you right. Notice when I said the God of strength, did I not flip it on his head? Because most people think God of strength, they just thinking of the physical.
No.
The mental, you have to be mentally strong, emotionally strong, spiritually strong, and it activates the physical. I'll even send you the one part I didn't send anybody is when they do the philosophical differences between the God of strength and the God of war, and his teammates have to deal with that. Because guess what? It's in his blood. He can't help it. He has to he has to control it. Most people never had that level of power. Like Give me a woo for everybody listening to the chat. Give me a woo. You ain't got to say much. Just give me a
Oh, woo.
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 And I'm going to ask this one question to everybody listening. I don't care if I got 14 people. I don't care if I got 1,400, 14,000, 14 million listening to me. I'm going to ask you this one question. How many of you had to, in your day, in one day's time, 24-hour period, you had to carry a gun, a knife, or whatever just for you and walk around with that shit for 24 hours just to protect yourself and your family or people around you or your loved ones? Or better yet, how many of you had to carry the gun, knife, or whatever to protect people you don't even know? You don't even know if they need it. That's what we're talking about. We sit right beside, we're no different right now in society than Lucy. We're relics. We are right beside the Knights Templar, the Japanese samurai, the Zulu
Saudi,
warrior,
Shaka Zulu. You're a relic, bro.
and
Attila the Hun. You've
gang.
come and gone.
I mean, you- you're 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 no different than Rommel. The Rommel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're different. Think about this. And one day I want to write the story, and I might even try to illustrate it, or I'll get Art New Style to illustrate it. All the warriors of old, and within the last 20 to 20,000 years, I want all the warriors of old to go to this metaphysical place where they put their clubs, their swords, their M4s, Mark 18s, their katanas, their broadswords, long swords at the door, their bow and arrows, their crossbows, their sniper rifles, and they just sit and they talk about their real problems. Like, I can't go back to my family the way I left them because they don't understand me. Think of how PTSD was for the fucking samurai. What was it, the Edo period when they got rid of them?
Yeah, fam, they fucking what do you uh, again, right? And remember, in warrior culture, there are fates worse than death, right? Man, come on, man. You remember Seppuku, right? Did you ever see that film? What, 47 Ronin?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so based on that story, when the shogun told them not to avenge their lord, but they went and they did it anyway, right? And then at the end of the film, the shogun was like, I appreciate it, right? You disobeyed a direct order, but I appreciate what you did. And because I appreciate what you did, I will let you die with honor by committing seppuku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So there are, and so what happens is that in our current world, uh, you know what I'm saying, again, for a lot of men, right? There's no longer such a thing as a fate worse than death. Right? And so, and why is that? Because there's no longer a belief in God, right? Because trust me, right? For those of us who do believe in God, there is a fate worse than death.
Yeah. Separation from God.
Yes, correct. Which is correct. Which is separation from God. It's a fate worse than death. So we, it's that you know it all goes back to that, bro. Like, I know in the manosphere, it's kind of popular in a sense to, I don't know, I don't know if it's to be atheist or to be secular or whatever the case might be, but a lot of the problems that you're seeing in society is due to the broken contract between man and God,
Mm-hmm.
right? And society only works when people have honor. So I get what Sergeant Willie P says about meaningful and gainful employment. I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. But in order for society to work, the people still have to be moral and responsible, because you could have meaning and gainful employment and still be immoral and still be irresponsible, especially since most people's idea of freedom is their ability to engage in conspicuous consumption and hedonism, right? Because one thing about money you have to understand is that money makes you more of what you already are.
Like steroids.
Yeah, it makes you more of what you already are. So if here's the thing, so if I was going around slinging dick when I was broke, what do you think I'm going to do now that I got $20 million?
You're gonna sling dick. You're gonna throw dick like throw a football.
That's what. So I get, so like for me, I wish me and Willie P could have certain conversations, right? Because money is not going to be something that's going to change your character. Like
And
I
I'm
get, I really
glad
do get where you're coming from. I really do, I do. But money is not going to be something, because, and why can I tell him that? Because I came from like he said, he's from the burbs. I came from the projects of Brooklyn at the height of the crack era. I was living in Southern California at the height of the crack era, right? I was a teenager during that time, and
that.
I didn't engage in any of that shit. None of it.
I'm a Baltimorean. True.
Yes.
and true. I'm on Eagle Street. Trust me, ABM will tell you, "A down the hill, A down the hill." That's a club song, by the way. When
Yes.
I told him all the streets I lived on, he was like, "A down the hill." Like when you ask my friends where did Charles come from, he came from down the hill, Church Square, Eagle Street, Eagle and Broadway, Eagle and McCullough, Patterson Park, Orleans Street. I only lived over west one time, and that's me coming back home from Iraq when my dad moved over there. Okay? Motherfuckers think that I come from such a high place. No, my parents paid for private school. That's the reason why I have a certain vernacular. That's the reason why my vocabulary is encyclopedic. Okay? Um, I'm the same Baltimore. The only thing that, as they say, God gave me the grace of having a certain set of parents. When how can I say this? And I gotta say this deep from my soul, not from my heart. I gotta go past my heart and go to my soul. I've experienced that fate worse than death. What happens? And this is what happened in what was it? Batman, the Dark Knight Returns, when the superheroes were outlawed. What happens when you were the hero 20 years ago, but they told you got to be a normal person now?
Yeah.
What happens when, if you use your skills in the civilian world, if it's not sanctioned, you're a vigilante?
Correct.
What if I go outside and I'm walking to the store? Of course, if it wasn't 6 inches of snow on the ground, and I see a old lady being mugged, and I use my knife, I use my hand-to-hand combat skills, I use my 45 caliber Glock, and I defend her life. There's somebody who's going to tell me I'm wrong. That's who. But if I go to but this is the funniest part, Sandog. If I go to the so-called primitive Middle East, I would be considered a hero. People would make stories about us.
Yeah, man. In Afghanistan, yeah.
The same places we fought against. If I went to go defend that lady against a fucking marauder,
Correct.
even if I gave up my life, her village would tell stories because I protected that lady I didn't know.
Correct.
But if I do so in my country, I'm a criminal. See, I understand this whole ICE shit because I was in the cusp of this shit. I literally had my city, kids I don't even know I protected. I had the entire city riot and say, "You're the bad guy." Was I the bad guy when I had to fucking front kick like Steve Rogers, a motherfucker who was on top of his wife choking her to death? Well, was I the bad guy who had to wrestle a knife out of a psych patient's hand from trying to stab his family? Was I a bad guy who had to arrest a mother for physically abusing her young children? And then when you leave the department, it's even worse. Or the service, it's even worse. Why do you think? Why do you think when my son graduates, I'm gonna hit you on the fucking lines and be like, look, whatever connects you need for executive protection, tell him I'm ready. Because I am not. You seen my fucking resume, man.
Yes.
If I go where you live right now, some sultan, some fucking higher up will be like, why aren't you working for us? I can't do that in my community. All these fucking millionaire, billionaire black people, would they put me on? That's the number one thing about community. I'm trying to beat the fuck into people's heads right now. How can I be the man in my community, but my community does not support me? You expect Sand Dog, we're closer to 50 than we are 40.
Correct.
You expect me with my herniated disc in my back, amazingly I can still fucking rep 400 pounds. Amazingly I can still squat 400 to 500 pounds. And I don't even think it's not even because of the bones, it's because of the muscles developed from over the years that are still strong and the tendons. And just the will to say, you better not break down, motherfucker.
Mm.
But you expect us, after you told your sons that masculinity's wrong for 18 fucking years, you expect us to train them to be a man. When masculine training should have started since he came out the womb. Can I get an amen?
Yeah. Amen. And and it's funny that you say that because to your point, so for a lot of young men, if they are not prepared for the rites of passage, when the test shows up, they're going to reject it. So to your very point, my father was grooming me to go through it. So when I was 6, 7 years old, right, I was being trained for it. So there are so many young men because I sent you a name with something on Instagram. I'm going to take it and I'll send it to you on Facebook Messenger so you can see it directly. And it was this young man, and he was complaining about the male figures in his life, saying, "Well, why do you have to be cruel to me in order to teach me how cruel the world is?" And I was like, "I'm like, bro, so you don't understand the concept of a practical exercise?" So there's one thing, what I'm saying. So yes, so I could sit down and teach it to you academically, but it's a practical exercise. A mother's love and a father's love are not the same thing.
Not even close.
It's not even close. So your father wants you to go out there and conquer nation and not falter to it. And so for a lot of men, they don't understand the difference. So you think that your mother's love and your father's love are supposed to be identical. It is not supposed to be.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be. My father rode me like the cheap mule that I am,
Hmm.
right? And here I am before you, the product that I am today, right? And so my mom did the love and the nurturing, right? So I don't, like I said, so if I could talk to that young man, because here's the thing. I promise you, if your father doesn't do it, something in this world that he's trying to prepare you for will. So if your father doesn't do it, do you want prison to do it? Do you want the streets to do it? Right? You know, something, one way or another, the trials of life are unavoidable. So one way or another, something is going to do it. So your father tearing you down is a controlled environment. When you get to the world, when you get to the real world, when you get those lessons, that's not a controlled environment. So,
Say it.
huh?
Say it again.
Yes. Your father doing it is a controlled environment. When the world does it, it's uncontrolled. So now so for example, shout out to Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore. There was a black teacher, right? There was a young man who was out of pocket, and there was a black male teacher who broke that boy's jaw. And
Mm-hmm.
unbeknownst to that little boy, that black male teacher that broke his jaw saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that was a controlled environment. When he gets out into the streets of Baltimore and he does that to the wrong person, that's death.
Yeah.
Be it law enforcement, a criminal, or whatever else is out there, that's death.
Yeah.
Right? So having your jaw broke by your teacher, right? I'm certain, right, that put that boy in a position to stop and think.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and that, like I said, that's the thing. And so, how do you want your lesson? Do you want it free? Do you want it cheap? Or do you want it to be expensive?
Yeah.
Right? So, by all means, right? And so, for me, I was lucky because I got free and cheap lessons because my father rolled me like, because again, a lot of young boys, right? He rolled me like the cheap mule that I was. Right? And voila, here I am, a man before you. But if my father didn't do that, right, I would have to learn certain things the hard way. And the hard way, sad and most unfortunately, could either cost you time or your life.
And it will. And
Yeah.
that's the part where people don't understand is that those lessons are pivotal because why? Because nobody's going to take it easy on you, kid. And this is the reason why the single mother epidemic was disastrous. Disastrous as hell. And when you look at that, you really got to say to yourself, I'm looking at a person who has the ability to to basically kill a person with their bare hands. What do you expect? You expect a mother who knows nothing about the physicality of a man. She has a bastardized, every woman has a bastardized idea of manhood until she has to be in a male dominated space and knows. Did I ever tell you the story when I'm going to the restroom on duty? Three women, three female officers, each with 42 rounds in their fucking person, are trying to clear a house and they ask for a male officer.
Mhm.
And I said I'm on my way. After I take this piss because it was raging, I'm on my way. The only time we ask for a female officer is to search a female prisoner. Can we do it? But it's preferred for females to do it.
Yes.
Think about it. You want the same pay. You want the ability to gain the same rank, but you expect shit goes hot and heavy a man to pull you out of that shit. I want everybody to put that in their brain. Put it in your brain cells.
Yes.
When people look at this shit, and even the stories that I'm about to share with you, even I broke it down to like physical strength, physical abilities. There are some people who are even the female on the team. She has skills that nobody else on the team has. But guess what? Are you going to put her against the heavy hitters? Yes and no. If it's in the right context, sure. If you put her in the right situation, sure. But this is what happens when you want to put everybody as equal. Everybody's equal until shit hits the fan, right? My father said, guess what? His captain in the Marine Corps in Okinawa was a recon Marine. So guess how he trained his company? Like goddamn recon Marines. You gonna climb this motherfucking hill. I'm pretty sure when you were a company commander, did you accept people's best?
Yeah. Of course. That's what I demanded of them because I gave them mine.
When I was a commander of my units, did I accept their best? Guess what? Even at BlairCon, even when I was off and they had to work the parties, you know what the most amazing thing was? They said we saw you drink. We saw you smoke 4 cigars and drink a lot of liquor. But guess what they always said? You were the first motherfucker up. You were up an hour before we even showered just to get us up. What did I just do with that?
You're establishing the moral authority to lead, right? Because again, same thing, right? You know, your leaders will eat last, right? Soldiers eat first, leaders eat last.
That was one of the main things when we went to lunch. Guess who ate last? Guess who gave everybody their breaks? I sent some of those guys on 2 and 3 hour breaks because they had to manage the parties at the night. So guess who had to manage the whole party, the whole 10,000 people? I walked around 5 floors, which the convention was on. I was everywhere. I gave the appearance of omnipresence so well that when people thought they could do something wrong, they just saw me. And because I established respect with everybody just for being a patron, people respected me and said, "No, you got to respect that man. He working." To the boys who weren't used to me, even when it was a, even when I was off because I was still in charge of everything. I saw 2 twins dancing to the music I was playing, and a guy was drunk, touching them and grabbing them, and they were offended, like, "No, don't touch me." So I got out my seat. You know how it is. Crack my knuckles because I'm like, he's drunk, so I'm praying to God, please listen to reason before I had to fucking do you in. Yo, they don't want you to touch them, leave them alone. But no, 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 they like this shit. I said, dude, I'm gonna give you one last warning. Don't touch them. Luckily, his homeboy came. He's like, "What's wrong? Your boy's touching these ladies, and they don't appreciate it. They didn't consent to being touched." Take your boy somewhere else right now. He's drunk. He's out of his mind. I give him that free. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because what would happen if I'm in charge of the whole fucking security? How would that look bad on me if I allow some shit to go down? So now, boom, you got to be in charge of yourself, and you got to be able to dictate shit. And I tell people all the time, I said, look, power is not just what you can do, it's how you utilize it. Sometimes I think people don't even understand power. And I know this is one of the frontier issues with the black community. Why? Because you were never given authority over yourself. It's foreign to you. It's very foreign. And
Facts.
a lot of brothers don't even understand it. Because if you really had the authority you wanted, and you got to understand, that is very intoxicating. That is intoxicating. You don't even know what to do with that shit. Oh, let me get this shut this shit down. Any
Yeah,
last
man.
because we got to
So
get.
that's it, man. Like I said again, stay away from idol worship. Like I said, this is a reminder for myself mainly, and for all of us, man. Like I said, idol worship, right? There's no gain in it, and God abhors it, right? He abhors it, and life without God is a life of misery.
Yes,
With
sir.
that, I'm
And hopefully you're here Wednesday, man. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna
yes,
talk about the warrior. Where does the warrior class fit in the modern day? Which I think
in
people.
Marvel films, bro. This is like, yeah, I mean, and to hold the discussion, right? Again, this is why the world is the way that it is today, right? Because you're no longer being led by warriors. There was a time where being a warrior earned you merit to lead the society.
Yeah.
I'll hold the deeper point for Wednesday. I don't want to take the thunder, but now that's no longer the case.
Oh yeah. But tell me what you think. I sent it to your email.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Yep, I'm gonna read it, and I'll give you a call. I'll call you later on today.
Okay, appreciate it.
All
Woo!
right.
We on
Woo!
we out.